Hello everyone, today I'm here to review You Can't Say This is a relatively new release. It's a party game from Big Potato Games, who did send me this to review. It's one of those classic games that's going to get you and your family split into two teams and trying to win and catch the other team out. Let's roughly go over how the game plays. It's super simple, and then I'll give you my thoughts and feelings on You Can't Say For the start of the game, you're going to need to split into two teams, and you've got to do that as evenly as you can. So depending on if you've got children involved, maybe balance the teams, or maybe you just do boys versus girls, parents versus children, whatever you fancy, but the teams should be relatively even. The aim of the game is very simple. Your team needs to get 20 points. You're going to get points for correctly guessing things when it's your team's turn, or dinging the bell correctly when it's the other team's turn. Maybe they maybe they maybe they break some of the special rules that get introduced. So when it's your team's turn, you're going to effectively nominate a clue giver, and they, when the timer is turned over, giving them 45 seconds, will pick up an A and a B card, and these will be two words that, well, probably aren't ever linked together in a normal sentence. You'll need to describe word A and then move on to word B, and when your team has got both words, you will get a point. Of course, you can't say the word itself, and you're also trying to not hesitate, or what the game sort of classes as a brain fart noise. So any all those sort of things. Anytime you do that, the opposing team will ding the bell, and then they move up 1 point on the track. If your team manages to guess the words correctly and there's still time, grab another A and B card and go again, and you're trying to get as many points for your team in the 45 seconds, obviously without scoring the other team too many points. There's 3 intervals along the tracker where during setup you'll have put rule cards for the other team. So you'll get 6 rule cards at the start, and you'll have put 3 out face down for the other team. At 5, 10 and 15 points, they unlock. So potentially you turn it over and you can no longer say words that begin with the letter M, or you can't say yes or no. Or maybe every time your team correctly guesses something, you need to stand up and sit back down again. These rules are just twisting things up, making it a little bit more difficult, adding more stipulations, so it's not just erring that you can't do, or maybe it's something you have to do. The final twist is that at the end of the score tracker, the last 5 movements, well, that's the danger zone. And not only can the clue giver not say the ers, etc., the guessers on your team can't either. So plenty of extra opportunity for the other team to be dinging, getting those points, and hopefully your team still just managing to win the race to 20 points. And that's pretty much how you play the game. It's that simple. Like with most party games, it's got a big player count on the box of 4 to 10 players, and I think that's going to really depend on who you want to play the game with and your gaming group. You can very much and very easily play it with 4 players. We've really enjoyed it at that player count. But if you want to add additional players to sort of balance out the teams, you certainly can. I can't see myself going up to it, but I don't think I'd enjoy it maybe when there's 5 people on each team, because it's fun to have multiple sort of chances to be that clue giver rather than slowly cycling through the team. However, you could do that if you wanted to, and the speed of the game is 100% there, but when we finished one game, it was like, right, let's reset and go again, because it's just that good comedic fun of, I'm trying to think of something, brain fart noises as it says in the rule book, and those sort of extra rules that just make it a bit harder. If it wasn't for those rules that sort of crop up, well, the game might sort of feel very one-dimensional, but actually those rule cards, well, they offer 2 things. First of all, they keep the experience fresh because there's a large rule deck of cards, and you're only going to be using 6 of those, and you're choosing what the opposing team's 3 are. That's a really cool sort of extra twist. Not only are new rules coming out, but you have chosen what your opponent's problematic rules are going to be. In one game, we actually made it where every time one of the other team got it right, they not only had to clap their feet together, they also had to stand up. And that just seemed to waste like so much of their 45 seconds. Every time they got these words right, they were clapping their feet, standing up and down, and then they were looking at the new cards. Conversely, we had some where it was like, right, you can't say yes or no, you can't use the letter M, so like you're trying to step through your clues going, right, I need to make sure I'm saying something. Oh, they've said something, yeah, yes, oh no, I can't say that anymore, that sort of stuff. And they were a lot of fun. So those rule cards give that freshness, but also give it a sense of feeling that it's like you've impacted what the other team have done. So there's difficulty in some of those by ruling out letters, but there's also some really funny ones in there that make the other team, or maybe your team, do something between them. Like you have to lean over to one side when you're giving the clues, or just something weird like that. That's a really great touch that just elevates this from being very, like I say, one-dimensional into being a really fun party game that's going to get back to the table. If there's one component in the box that, well, it's great, but I absolutely hate it at the same time, it's got to be that bell. There is something about when you're trying to give a clue and you just sort of go, and someone dings, it completely takes you out of the mindset of giving a clue. Oh no, I've given them a point. Oh, now I've got to think of a clue again. I've done it again. It's absolutely perfect for this style of game because it's that interruption and obviousness of something you've done has broken, like the rule of umming or erring, or one of the rules you're not allowed to do. Ding, and that can really, like, you can see people getting like, damn it, I've caused it to ding, I've given the other team a point. So it's one of those components. It works really well in this party game, but bloomin' hell, you hate that bell by the end of the game. One thing at the end of the game that's really cool though is that danger zone, because it involves everyone on the team. It's no longer just the clue giver that's not able to and but it also means there's a bit of a catch-up mechanism there, and you can definitely see people, or see the other team or your team, come from behind and catch up and make it really tight at the end. In fact, on some rounds, we were getting more points from dinging the opposing team than our sort of next round when we were giving clues. So that end zone, it is called the danger zone, and it really is dangerous to be in, because all of a sudden you are really having to make sure everyone on the team is not just umming and erring and thinking out loud. And it gives the other team just an extra little chance to get a point and maybe just squeeze past you when you had the chance to win then and there. And I really like the danger zone because of that. One thing I have said about a number of party games where a deck of words is included is that once you go through that deck, it's going to not be as good the second playthrough of it. So I was a bit worried when there was very specific A and B decks. I was thinking, the combinations there, that's not going to work too good. Now, to put into context, we played 2 games back to back at one point, and we'd gone through approximately 2/3 of the deck, maybe a little bit more. So that shows maybe 3 games you will have gone through those full decks of cards. However, unlike other games where maybe you're hinting at a very specific word on a card or a fact that's easy to remember, in one case you might have a wobbly iron. The next time those cards come around, well, it might be a wobbly hedgehog, or something completely different. These sort of combinations of words that just make no sense at all are always popping up. And I think this is going to, that part of it, those decks, means they're not going to sort of run out of interest, and you can keep playing the game over and over again. So overall, we've really enjoyed You Can't Say It's that perfect balance of putting people on the spot, sort of having the sort of game develop as you're playing. It starts super simple where you can't just say and and then these extra rules come out that either make you do something a little bit silly or make it a little bit harder by saying, right, you can't say a letter beginning with P anymore. Okay, that's going to be quite hard, and different things like that. So we've really enjoyed it. It's definitely going to be sort of one of those games at Christmas. This is going to get to the table, I can guarantee it, because, well, we've all enjoyed it so far. So any family gathering or Christmas time, that is when this sort of game for me will absolutely flourish. And I think you could I could definitely recommend it to have in your back pocket, on your shelf sort of thing. Not back pocket because it's a really, well, not a big box, but it's not going to fit in a pocket box. It's one of those ones you could easily have on the shelf and go, we've got a good group of people here. Let's split into teams and have a very quick game of it, some entertainment, sort of liven things up, and then go on to another game. It's that sort of great party game where everyone has a lot of fun, apart from that damn bell that dings at you when you muck up. But yeah, anyway, let me know if you've played the game, if you and erred your way through it as much as I certainly did when we were playing. Let me know in the comments section below. And until next time, thanks for watching, stay subscribed and all that sort of jazz.